And our first shot of Chester is a good one. Class 156, the 444 in the new Northern livery. Behind it is a 150.
The old one.
Here's another 150. This is an Arriva Trains Wales one, and we just arrived with it from Crewe. Hello, I'm David Franco.
And I'm Duncan Speedboat.
And we're at Chester for the finale of the Trainspotting Tour 2. Oh, there's also Merseyrail here, by the way. We'll go have a look at that in a bit. There's a train leaving now. It's been a while since I last went to Chester. I don't really remember that much of it.
I went to Chester not so long ago.
It's interesting because there's 3 separate train sheds. There's this one, well, it's not really a train, yeah, there's one over there, and then there's just that kind of lonely separated train shed with the bay platforms. Kind of reminds me of old pictures of Manchester Victoria. Oh, hello there. What have we here? It's a 67.
That means that won't be our train.
Well, it's a DVT, but there's a 67 on the back. DVT 82308 with Mark II carriage. Is it Mark II or 3? I can never remember. It's 3. Mark III carriages. And a class 67 at the back. So this is platform 1, the bay platform. This seems to be the go-to area for the crew shuttle. There's another platform, but this is platform 1, which is confusing. And there's a 175, even though 175s don't terminate here. Is that part of the station? Because actually, it could maybe not be. We'll go investigate. Off goes the 67 set. Push, pull, I believe it's now. In this case it is pushing. This is platform 3, we already saw platform 1, it's also siding not used, and here's platform 2, where trains to Birmingham International and Cardiff Central seem to be based, although it is currently empty. Then there's platforms 4 and a few others over the footbridge. Where should we go, Duncan? Should we go over the footbridge?
Yeah, why not?
Let's go. So I think the main platforms are 4 and 7. 4 over there, and then 7, there's a Merseyrail train, and platform 7 is indeed third rail electrified.
Looks like it has to stop here.
So actually no, so 1 and 4 are the main platforms. Because 1 is predominantly carries the westbound trains, and 4 the eastbound trains. Although last time I came here, I do remember getting the train to Manchester was from 7, but maybe that was unusual. And then there are also platforms 5 and 6, which are bay platforms, and they seem to have the northern terminating services. Ah, there goes the new livery Northern 156. Ah. Oh well. Oh yeah, and there is a kind of depot with a lot of just tracks.
A bit creepy.
Bit, yeah.
What's even creepier is how old that
Merseyrail trains are being replaced soon.
Even though it says Liverpool.
So here are bays 5 and 6, with the kind of lone separate train shed, which... Was it, do you reckon it was once one big one and it's been like cut in 2, or... Why would they build a totally separate train shed? I don't know. So 5 and 6 are northern services, and they seem to be handling the mid-Cheshire line, so the route to Altrincham and then on to Stockport and Manchester Piccadilly. We could use this route to get home, but we are not. We are instead using the route via Warrington. So we're at Chester, and there's two 150s coupled together, and yet they're not being allowed on this train, but they are on this train. But they're coupled, they're both leaving, I guess. Rather confusing. Oh no, she's not going to make it, is she? Poor lady. Very confusing. Off to Manchester Piccadilly. Meanwhile, there's a 175 headed for North Wales.
And there's a pipe that's a bit broken.
Yep. Merseyrail 508 103 leaves for Birkenhead Central. One 175 110 leaves for Holyhead, I think. Meanwhile, another Merseyrail train is approaching. 508 136 with another one on the back. Merseyrail service terminating here from Birkenhead Central. Platform 7 is the only one that Merseyrail trains seem to be able to use because it's third rail electrified. These Merseyrail trains are soon to be replaced. Five 136 to Birkenhead Central.
I know something that can make this video even better. Get a flagged ferry.
Yeah, it doesn't actually go to Liverpool, it only goes as far as Birkenhead, which is across the Mersey from Liverpool, which then prompted Duncan to, oops, there you go, to remind us all about the ferry across the Mersey, which links Liverpool to Birkenhead, as does the Wirral line. You'll just have to change trains. But that's not quite as exciting, I suppose. Speaking of not exciting, there are actually not all that many trains here in Chester. But there's a little bit anticlimactic, but it's okay because there's a Virgin Super Voyager for us to go see on the other platform. A service to Holyhead is arriving, platform 3. Interestingly enough, it's got the red lights at the front. I'm guessing they just changed it just as they were approaching. Now it stopped. 158 825 will depart in a little bit. Further down platform 3, it's also a Virgin Super Voyager. Which one will depart first? Only realtimetrains.com can tell us. Oh, another Merseyrail train's arrived as well. So here at Chester, you've got Birmingham International to Holyhead services, which reverse here. There's this one over here, and there's going to be another one on platform 2 in just a bit. First, this one's going to leave for Holyhead, so let's watch it leave. 158 825. Here comes the 158 from Holyhead to Birmingham. Meanwhile, the train from Birmingham to Holyhead is still waiting to depart. That one's departing now. 158 831. And now this train is leaving. 158 825 for Holyhead. 158 831 to Birmingham International. That's 221 Super Voyager to Euston, coming in at quite a speed actually. All the way from Holyhead. Marco Polo. 221 109 and 221 104. Another Merseyrail train from Birkenhead arrives here. The service is pretty frequent actually. 507021. What the difference is between 507s and 508s, perhaps you will never know. Virgin Super Voyagers for London Euston. That Super Voyager over there isn't going anywhere. So, with the episode nearly over, there's just one more Merseyrail train and then our train. So before we leave, Duncan, what are your final thoughts on Chester? It's a bit desolate, Chester. It's a bit of a miserable looking station. And there's that very creepy separate train shed, which is reminiscent of pre-Manchester Arena Victoria, because it had the train shed just like that. Thoughts on the Trainspotting Tour 2 as a whole?
Yeah, it's a good day.
Was today not a good day?
And this last one is not.
Yeah, it's a bit anticlimactic, especially compared to Crewe last time. But I think Stafford was definitely a good episode. Stafford was a strong episode. Earlstown was probably the most unexpected joy of the station.
Yeah.
I really, really liked Earlstown.
It's a nice station.
So, should we do Birmingham, Liverpool and Leeds? Trainspotting Tour 3?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe later this summer, if there's time. Maybe next year. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, that Merseyrail train is leaving. And also the cafe is reopened. Duncan has a dilemma. Oh yes, and also another terminating sprinter from Crewe, which we can just see in the distance. Although it is mostly blocked by the Super Voyager. Sprinter. .507.021 at the back. There's another one at the front. I didn't have time to see it. Off to Birkenhead Central. Meanwhile, our train home is approaching. And our train home is now arriving. It's 175-107. It's a 175 Coradia.
Yay! Very enthusiastic.
Even though real-time trains said it was an express sprinter on 5.8, but
they're idiots.
They were wrong. Let's go home. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. .373 Liverpool Lime Street. We now are waiting for the 1423 to Chester. Hello YouTube, I'm outside Manchester Piccadilly. It's just me this morning. I'm walking off to Ardwick to do some train spotting.